What's up, Zoners? This is Tyler, Big Turd Ward, and Jason, the lucky bastard youth and will coming at you live from the West Coast. And this is the Fantasy Red Zone. Today, man, we have Week 12 trade targets, man. Week 11's over, man. I need to win out, for God's sake. So I am paying attention to trades, paying attention to weird stats, maybe some usage rates and stuff like that from the last week. So we've got some quick hits on trades, maybe like 10, man, or something like that. We have Jason has a program. He has access to a program that tells us real life trades that are happening right now. So we'll go over, see what you have to do to get these players that we want to get or get rid of. All right. Hey, we also have our smashes and crashes. Those are our studs and duds. So stick around for that at the end of the episode. Jason, this show needs help. We need help big time, man. Help. Blink twice if you need help, dude. I'm blinking twice time 1,000. Anyways, Jason, please tell the public how they can help this show. I'm rambling.
Just like your blink times 1,000. Wait, blink twice times 1,000. Would that be 2,000 or is that 1,000?
That'd be 2,000.
2,000. Like the amount of subscribers that we want for our new goal, because we reached 1,500 thanks to you guys. But if you made it this far and enjoy Two Friends Talk About Fantasy Football, please hit the subscribe. Press the like. We like the likes. Leave a comment. Let us know about these trade targets we're going to go over. If you had a smash, if you had a crash, if you have any additional questions about targets. We're also on the radio, on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We also got a Patreon. For those supporting us on Patreon, thank you. We appreciate you.
Again, the best way to support us, like, subscribe, that gets us out to more people, hopefully, and support us via Patreon, man. It's the only way we will ever be able to get away from our work and do more research. And vids, man. Vids! Hey, anyways, let's get into the news for yous, Jason. Brock Purdy emerged from Sunday's game. Dude, that fool didn't even throw for 200 yards. Whatever, man. With a right shoulder soreness and is day-to-day right now, Jason. So I did not know that. We were going to talk about him later, but I just want to throw that out there because that just broke right before the show.
Just soreness, though. They're not saying it's like a AC joint or anything.
That's exactly what. If it said elbow soreness, I was going to point that out later. Actually, man, if it was elbow soreness, I'd actually be worried about this. You know, hey man, I got a shoulder. I sleep wrong. I've got a sore shoulder, Jason. So I really don't care about that until we see what, we need to see how it progresses through the week. And then the big news today, Jason, is, hey, I was like, hey, you need to go get this quarterback, man. 7+ rushing attempts, a rushing touchdown every game. He gets Tampa Bay and Dallas. You see what the fuck's going on in Dallas right now. You just run the ball at will, Jason. You can run the ball at will. Too bad they don't have a linebacker named Will. They just run right at him.
Fuck.
But hey, anyways. Oh, I thought somebody was here. Daniel Jones, Jason out. DeVito is in. He gets Tampa Bay and Dallas. So like Tyrone Tracy should be safe. Hopefully he won't get any touchdowns vultured from him. That's nice. But Malik Neighbors, Jason, we need to pay attention the next 2 games to see if he's worth keeping on to or what.
Danny DeVito is going to be the face of the franchise. Just like how he's the face of the pub.
Oh, he's the face of the what? Oh, Danny DeVito.
Yeah, he's the face of the Patty's Pub, and they're like, what? You're ugly.
Oh, that's right.
Me?
He's the garbage man. Jason, Gabe Davis out for a season. And then there was a quote from Doug Peterson that said, I hate him for him. I didn't click on it, but I just thought that was interesting to say.
That sucks for him, but it kind of worked out because the guy I went up against, he's all, last second change. I'm starting Gabe Davis against you. And I was all, please start him. Please. I was always like, acting like I was scared. I was like, oh, no, don't do that. I need to win.
You mean big play Gabe? Big play Gabe?
But in my head, I was all, excellent. Ha, 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 ha. Oh, 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 oh.
Jason, did you see Justin Tucker missing those field goals, man?
Yeah, what's up, man? Does age really affect accuracy for kickers? What's going on?
He's and it's like, hey, did the pressure get to him? He's been well known as the best kicker maybe ever. Him and like Vinatieri for like 5 years, man. So he's had this pressure for a long time. It has to be age, man, or just something weird. Mental, man, maybe mental. John Harbaugh says that they will not bring in competition for Justin Tucker. The best thing for Justin Tucker to do, apparently, is to fix it himself. So if you have Justin Tucker, I guess I wouldn't want him. He's been a disappointment this year anyways. But if you're a believer, he is not going to be replaced. If he was replaced, I'd actually be targeting that kicker.
Yeah, they probably just tell him to go into a dark room and sit there for 3 days with no food or water.
Listen, when you're in the darkness, you just have to embrace it. Hopefully I don't turn
Shadow
into a
people.
douchebag when I hit 40, Jason. I'm close. I'm close. Hell, I might be a douchebag. I don't know if I'm a douchebag or not.
I see
Probably.
you slowly transforming into a douchebag amongst my eyes.
Okay. I'm getting angrier and angrier.
Yeah.
Oh, would you please use your turn signal? Does anybody use their fucking turn signals?
Yeah.
Anyways, man, Jonathan Brooks to make his season debut this week. Oh yeah, that's great, man. I need my season to have it. I drafted him, Jason. I've been waiting for this fool to come back. I bet you he gets eased in, probably like 20% snap count, some shit like that, and he gets to go against Kansas City. So nobody should be starting Jonathan Brooks this week.
Yeah, I saw that thing too, and he's going to start this week. I guess the Chiefs. I'm like, okay, well, he's going to be a pause, maybe
Dude,
2 pauses.
why don't we? It's like why would you? They usually keep people out against the good team. Bring him back against somebody a little bit easier, man.
Yeah.
And on that same team, Jason, Bryce Young is to start again coming out of that bye. So that is good for Jalen Coker. So Jalen Coker is available like in 95% of leagues or some shit like that. It's like 7+ targets, 20-something% target share with Bryce Young. So Jalen Coker, if you are in a bind, it'll probably be a streamer this week, Jason.
Yeah, are they just trying to like have Bryce Young like really play through it now, the mental game, or is there something wrong with Andy?
Hey, I mean, as long as he's not like shitting his pants, dude. Like that fool was literally throwing interceptions and crying on the field.
Yeah.
So they just had to take him off. You know, they didn't want to put some 40-year-old, like, you know, my age dude out there throwing footballs. Like, there's nothing to come from that.
Yeah.
So
Nope.
they already know they've got a good offensive line. They've got some decent wide receivers. They do need another wide. They need an actual wide receiver, though, man. Let's see.
Yeah.
Like something better than Leggett.
What's his name? Supposed to be coming back, right? Or they open up the window? Adam Thielen?
Yeah, but I mean, he's old too. You know, like they need to invest. Yeah. They need to get like a top draft pick wide receiver next year. I mean, Leggett was a first-round draft pick, but they need even somebody better than Leggett.
Forget about it. Leggett about it.
Leggett about it. Hey. All right, man. Trades, dog. You see that? That's a T right there. I can tell that my writing is not even. Holy shit. Hopefully my eyes are. I'm like, my eyes like this. I'm just like, my eyes like this. Holy shit.
You were writing it like this.
All right, man. The first one I want to talk about, Jason, is somebody that you own. I was just looking at some stuff for him. Mike Evans, man. I've been talking about trading for him for a while, just like I was talking about Jauan Jennings, man. Trade for Jauan Jennings. Trade for Jauan Jennings. But Tampa Bay, we talked about this, man. It's like them. I think they have the best schedule, like almost across the board. Wide receivers, running backs, and quarterbacks the rest of the season. So he's got an amazing schedule the rest of the season. Godwin out. From 2022 to 2024, Mike Evans without Chris Godwin on the field would rank second in fantasy points per route run, just behind Tyreek Hill first, and just ahead of Justin Jefferson third, Nico Collins fourth over that time span. So, dude, this guy's going to be, it's like Nico Collins coming back, man. Maybe even more than that, because the way Baker Mayfield's playing that offensive line, even though they just lost Tristan Wirfs. But yeah, man, Mike Evans, your last chance to pick him up. If you're Mike Evans' owner, Jason, you're probably going to have to pay up for him. And I've been hearing people have been coming at us with a lot of big trades lately, so I'm actually throwing out some bigger names.
Yeah, I was trying to get some trades going on last week, and I kept thinking, it's like, should I trade Mike Evans? But I kept looking, dude. I was like, dude, Tampa Bay's got it like a pretty easy schedule from here on out. And it's like, I can't pass this up, dude. Chris Godwin out. Baker Mayfield, easy schedule. I got to play Mike Evans. I'm just hoping he does play and doesn't re-aggravate his hamstring.
He's a league winner, man. That fool is a league winner. All right, man. Anyways, dude, continuing on. I talked about this last week. Chase Brown, man. Again.
Let's get some trades.
Oh my God.
Would you do Mike Evans for Jonathan Taylor?
Mike Evans?
Yeah. Jonathan Taylor for Mike Evans.
I actually really like Jonathan Taylor, but you saw what happened last game, dude. They had 11 designed runs for Anthony Richardson or something. That was only done at one point this season by Jalen Hurts. So that was the first game back with Anthony Richardson, man. They're like, fuck it, dude. We're just going to run you. We don't care about your development anymore. So that is actually kind of scary for me. I would probably want to get Mike Evans.
Okay. And What was the other one? I mean, I think I kind of know where this is going, but would you Tyreek Hill for Mike Evans?
Oh, dude, Mike Evans all day. And Jason, I do want to say I threw out that trade to your dad. I sent Debo for Jauan Jennings. Let's see what he says. I'm sure he's not going to accept it.
Last one, would you do Debo Samuel, Najee Harris for Mike Evans?
No, dude. Debo's sucking, man. The fool gets like 6 targets, 5 targets. What the fuck, man? Jauan Jennings is the guy you want there.
Yep.
So that sucks, man. And then Najee Harris, whatever. It's just Mike Evans is going to be like 30 points a game, man. I just want that.
Me too.
And then a trade for again, real quick, Jason. Chase Brown. I talked about this a couple weeks in a row. For the 3rd straight week, he saw 100% of Cincinnati's running back rushes, man. 100%. And then when they were down, man, he was getting a lot of passes too. Jonathan Taylor owns 7 of the 12. Or wait, he and Jonathan Taylor own 7 of the 12 games this year where running back saw every single carry in the backfield. They're trying to bring in people off the street, man. Like, there's no competition here. He has a huge target share, regardless. So yeah, man, Chase Brown is like just like I see Mike Evans in the right. I mean, I'm waiting for this fool just to blow up, and if you could get him, I would.
Dude, there's no one else right now. It's just him. They even brought in another running back who hasn't even seen the ball, I think, in 2 games.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, seriously, 100% running back share, dude, on that offense, which looks amazing.
He has taken the Joe Mixon role of the Cincinnati Bengals. Would you do Garrett Wilson for Chase Brown?
No, Chase Brown all day, dude. Fuck I don't. Remember how I said trade for Devontae Adams, man?
Yeah.
I don't even want anything to do with the Jets anymore.
Yeah, it sucks. Josh Downs for Chase Brown.
Chase Brown. Josh Downs actually did better than. I mean, him and Anthony Richardson did better than we all thought was going to happen. But he is still the hyper-targeted wide receiver there. But fuck that. Give me Chase Brown.
Last one, Jaxon Smith-Njigba for Chase Brown.
Still Chase Brown. I do like. I mean, JSN. I just saw the stat. Last 3 games has been insane, and then even with DK back, he was still good. But still, man, Chase Brown is like, dude. Running backs are so thin. Very few high-end running backs like this. He's almost like in Christian McCaffery territory as far as what this shit's going on. All right, Jason. So next up, is that funny? I put in, so funny. JSN, man, Jaxon Smith-Njigba has seen a target share 26%, 38%, 36%, dude. So even 36% in the last game with DK Metcalf, scored fewer than 10 PPR points just once since week 3. So if you can get JSN, he was actually being traded in our listener league, Jason. So yeah, I'm actually digging JSN right now. I'm changing my mind. It looks like they are actually phasing out Lockett and installing more JSN.
Well, I think that was always the future plan, was to finally get Lockett maybe out of there so Smith could take over. I didn't think it was going to happen this season because they kept Lockett, but you're right. Maybe they're starting to phase him out now. I mean, Smith is a really good wide receiver. He could be fucking amazing in that slut role.
Yeah, they don't even need him and DK, man. Just deep, physical, just jumping over shit, and then the slot. So, I mean, if they can get, I mean, I like Geno, but maybe I forget. Did they draft a quarterback behind Geno? I don't think they did.
They got Drew Luck.
Oh yeah, fuck that. They need to develop somebody else. But still, what is it?
Rachaad White for Njigba.
Dude, I would rather take Rachaad White with that schedule, man. And the targets are going to go down for Rachaad White with Mike Evans returning, but they're still going to be there, man. So I still like Rachaad White with that schedule.
Ramondre Stevenson.
Probably JSN. I like Ramondre Stevenson, but it just I guess I just don't value him. He's kind of like a flex to me, and I would just rather have the upside of JSN. He doesn't have the upside, I guess. He's just kind of like a higher floor right now, and his floor is not that great anyways.
And then we got Jonathan Taylor.
I'd rather have Jonathan Taylor over JSN for sure. And then here we go, Jason. Brock Purdy. In week 11, Brock Purdy failed to hit 200 passing yards in a completed game for the first time since October 2023. And dude, he had like 25 points 2 weeks in a row. And I was just talking about how the tiers of wide receiver, as far as quarterbacks that are guaranteed to get you a lot of points. I put Brock Purdy in that last week, Jason, and there was only like 5 of them. All right, because quarterbacks just suck this season. Even though I just started Jameis Winston, got like 30 points, but still, Yeah, man. So Brock Purdy, if you could trade for him after this game, this is the time to do it.
Okay. Jalen Warren for Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy all day.
Jaden Reed.
Brock Purdy all day.
Russell Wilson.
Brock Purdy.
Oh, okay. I thought we might get a little switch there, but yeah,
then,
Russell Wilson. We're talking about him a little bit later.
Here we go, Jason. Next up, Christian McCaffery, same team. He's 90 to 90.5% running back rush share, 18% target share week 11. He has not found the end zone yet, and that's why I say you should trade for him. But that usage is elite. I did not want to trade for him. I was like, fuck that, dude. I could have traded ETN for him at one point in time. I should have. But I did not trust anything about his health. We've had 2 weeks to look at it, Jason. I feel comfortable trading for Christian McCaffrey. I don't know what you do, but like again, there's a lot of big trades going on. People are trying to trade fucking Saquon Barkley right now, for God's sakes, in our league. So Christian McCaffrey, if you could trade for him, I think it's a good idea. He hasn't gotten the touchdowns yet.
He didn't score last game? I thought for sure. I thought
This is from JJ Zacharias song, so hopefully
no,
he's right.
You're probably right. I went up against Christian McCaffrey, and I don't, for some reason, I thought he scored, but maybe he didn't. Oh, it was Jauan Jennings who got that goal line score.
Yeah.
That vulture.
Yeah.
Would you do straight up, bro? Derrick Henry for Christian McCaffrey.
Derrick Henry, fuck that.
DeAndre Swift, Devontae Adams for McCaffrey.
Oh, I'd rather have CMC. If you could put those two together, we'll talk about Swift in a minute.
Chase Brown and Malik Neighbors with Tommy DeVito as quarterback for Christian McCaffrey.
That one's fair. Because like I said, Chase Brown is like being used like Christian McCaffrey. I'd probably still go Christian McCaffrey there. Best player in the trade usually wins, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
And then Jason, next up, again, Jauan Jennings. We can just real fast. I just talked about that.
All
His
right.
target share, dude, 40%, 32%, 39%. What the fuck, man? So averaging 29 point PPR points over those games where either Ayuk or Debo is missing. So yeah, Jauan Jennings, man. Trade Debo for him if you can. That's what I'm doing right now.
Would you say that he's probably the player that, out of all the ones that trade for, he's probably the highest priority?
Yeah, I don't know if the person's going to give him up, man. Still, I don't know. I don't even know if you can trade Debo for him, even though on all the trade charts, he's more valuable, but still. And then we don't need to talk about the trade for Jason. We already talked about Jennings a lot. Okay. Kyren Williams, real fast. For Kyren Williams, he had a 75% running back rush share in week 11, his lowest mark since week 2. He also failed to register a target, so he's not getting targeted with this Puka shit. PPR, Williams has not scored a rushing touchdown in 4 straight games after scoring at least one in each of his first 6. So, dude, I'm looking at the owners, man. You could be like, hey, Puka's back. This fool ain't doing shit. The rushing touchdowns should come back, man. That's what I'm looking at here. And Blake Corum was coming out hot, in that first quarter, but Kyren got the rest. So I'm thinking that Kyren Williams owners would actually be willing to let him slip through their fingers, Jason. And I'd be trying to trade for him if I could.
Oh, so he's a trade for?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he hasn't scored a touchdown since the 2 wide receivers both came back.
I know, but it's a rushing touchdowns, man. I believe that will come back.
Yeah, I think this is, you mentioned that he didn't get any targets this game. I also think that's the first time. He was still getting targeted a shitload, I believe, the last 3 games before this game. So
okay.
It could have been also just a matchup, maybe.
And anyways, man, I'm just saying, Kyren Williams, if you can get him, I would, because running backs like that are rare right now.
I got some trades for that.
What's up?
Drake London.
I'd rather have Kyren.
George Pickens.
I'd still rather have Kyren.
Okay, you like him so much. What about David Montgomery?
Kyren, dog. Give me that Kyren, dog. I had to go get some fucking David Montgomery this week. So yeah, anyways, just since I'm saying Kyren, that makes me feel comfortable with the trade for, man. And then the last trade for real fast, Jason, Christian Watson, man, from week 1 to 7 in games where, anyways, he averaged a target share of just at 9% over the last 3 games. 22%, 19%, 24%. So if you're looking for a cheap wide receiver with upside, Jason, I'm actually liking Christian Watson. Jordan Love has got to get better. This offense has got to get better. He's getting healthier. So Christian Watson is actually involved right now. I liked him in the preseason. I'm just saying, he's a cheap target for if you were looking for some upside.
Yeah, I think, did you say he scored 20 points last week?
Did I say that? No, I was just going over his target share. 24% target share, 19% target share, 22% target share over the last 3 weeks, where it was 9 in like weeks 1 through 7.
Yeah, I think he put up, dude, Christian Watson, 4 receptions, 150 yards last week against
there you go, man. Yeah, against the Bears. Yeah. So again, I just like Christian Watson with Jordan Love. It's like he was the guy that's getting long touchdowns all the time. And then Jaden Reed started taking shit underneath, but they play different roles, man. I think Christian Watson would be a good flex, man, in full PPR if you want to trade for him.
All right, would you do Jalen Waddle for Christian Watson?
Waddle hasn't done anything, man. That offense is weird. Jonnu Smith is getting involved. So yeah, I guess I would go Christian Watson. Give me the number 1 in that offense.
That trade has happened 3 times in the last day.
Fucking crazy, dude. That's a weird trade.
Yeah. Would you do Elijah Moore for Christian Watson?
Nah, Christian Watson, dude. Yeah, no, Elijah Moore.
Mike Gesicki.
No, I'd want Christian Watson for sure.
Okay.
The trade away, Jason, speaking of tight ends, Kyle Pitts, man, had a 4-week stretch between weeks 5 and 8 where he averaged like 16 PPR points per game over his last 3. It's been 4.5. So went from 16 points per game to 4 points per game. And that's almost been for a month, Jason. So Kyle Pitts and this offense looks like shit, dude, just like Drake London, all that stuff, man. Kirk Cousins, not looking great. So except for that hot streak they had, man, it has been bad for Kirk Cousins. I had him in our 8-man league. I was trying to start him for a minute. He had some awesome matchups and hasn't done shit with it. Kyle Pitts, man, if you could still try to maybe capitalize on that, trade up and get a tight end-ish, somebody else, I would.
Yeah, it's about time he's coming back down to reality. I said that 1 week not to play him, then he just went off for the rest of the season. I was like, don't do this to me. Don't you do it. Would you trade Kyle Pitts for Javonte Williams?
Dude, I don't want... I thought Estime was the man. Were they just like, what? I'd probably keep Kyle Pitts, man, for that.
Okay. For Bucky Irving.
Yeah, I'd probably do Bucky Irving.
And then what about JSN?
Oh, fucking A, dude. If you can get JSN for that, that's what I'd do.
Okay.
And then there's a big trade away right here, Jason. DeAndre Swift. So I was like, hey, man, they changed coordinators. This guy was a running backs coach. Look out for DeAndre Swift to have a bounce back game. So during the 3 games prior to week 11, he had seen a running back rush share of 90%, 84%, 94%. We're like, holy shit. This last week with the new offensive coordinator, Jason, he was at 58%. He failed to reach a double-digit percentage target share in 3 of his last 4 games, and that's what he was thriving on before. Now they're not going to throw the ball as much. They're bringing in Roschon Johnson at the goal line. DeAndre Swift. And then we talked about, man, go check out his schedule. It's like the Vikings and Detroit. It's fucked up, man. So DeAndre Swift, trade him away for somebody while you can.
Yeah, would you do DeAndre Swift for Deebo Samuel?
Yeah, I would take Deebo over Swift.
What about for Calvin Ridley?
Yeah, I would do Calvin Ridley. Yeah, I guess I'd probably keep Swift for Calvin Ridley.
Then what about Devonta Smith?
I would try to get Devonta Smith instead of Swift.
Smith instead of Swift.
Yeah, I was thinking they were on the same team, before. And then here's another trade away, Jason. If you even own him, Xaiver Worthy, man. That fool actually went off. Man, scored 16.8 PPR points against the Bills. That's his highest mark since that one touch. You remember that run around, that jet sweep in week 1. He still has only 2 games this year with at least a 20% target share. He only had 16% this last week when he dominated, man. So Xaiver Worthy, try to capitalize on this, put him in a package and try to give him away to somebody.
Did you see how he scored this week?
No, I didn't even look at it.
Jet sweep.
Fuck. Well, there you go, man. So yeah,
Okay,
Xavier Worthy, I wouldn't want.
would you do trade him for Xavier Leggett?
I guess, man. Yeah, probably.
Here's an easy one for Kenneth Walker.
Who the fuck is doing that, man? I was like, Kenneth Walker? Is there a different Kenneth Walker? Is there like a wide receiver named Kenneth Walker I don't know about?
No.
And then, hey, lastly, real fast, Jason, just Ricky Pearsall. This is the last one. People were hyping him up, man. He saw his route share fall to 62%. That was his lowest mark of the season. He only had one target and he didn't catch it. So Ricky Pearsall, there's just too many people there, man. So, and even with Kittle out, I thought that Pearsall might do better. It's all Jauan Jennings. It's all CMC. So yeah, dude. Try to get, if you can package Pearsall, Worthy, and try to get somebody else. That's what I would do.
Too many mouths to feed for a rookie.
My eyes, yeah. All right, Jason. Let's get into the crashes, man. Then we will end with some positivity with the smashes. All right. So first off, with crashes, we got dude, Russell Wilson. This, you know what? Every time we're like, oh, Baltimore's just giving up points. It doesn't matter, man. When these two teams go together, and even when the Browns sometimes, it's like it's just a fucking ugly, low-scoring game where nothing happens. So regardless of the year, we just have to take that into account and just start raking these fools lower when they go against each other.
Yeah, man. I was sitting here like saying Russell Wilson is going to have the potential of being the quarterback one at the end of the week, and no. His matchup was so good, but Russell Wilson, right? He ended with 6 points, 23 for 36, 0 touchdowns for 205 passing yards with 1 interception. His average completed air yards, Tyler, was 3. That was the fourth fewest from the weekend. And it's crazy because his longest completed distance was 47 yards. So even with that 47 yards, he still only averaged 3 yards of air yards. That's very close to the line of scrimmage. So he was not looking downfield at all. It was a nice pass to George Pickens, that 47-yarder. But even with that completion, he still averaged 3 yards. Okay, I'm repeating myself. This is a missed opportunity for a big game from Russell Wilson, who averaged 225 yards and 2 touchdowns a game before entering Sunday. Like you said, Tyler, it's probably just the division, right? It's the Baltimore Ravens versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. When I think of that, I always think a defense. We should have done that. I should have done that. Next week, he is at the Cleveland Browns, who allow 16 points a game to opposing quarterbacks.
Yeah, so I mean, it's another divisional game, Jason. Which it's it was like I remember when the Vikings played the Lions or whenever, dude. It's same thing. Divisional matchups are weird, and then you watch like when the Rams play the 49ers. Man, it doesn't matter how bad one of them are; it's always a close game. And so it's like I always want to. I need to start weighing that more into my rankings. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But anyways, George Pickens, as far as Russell Wilson goes, I just want to talk about George Pickens is averaging pretty much 18 fantasy point or PPR points per game. And he has not been below 11.4 points in the 4 games with Russell Wilson. So George Pickens, man, no matter what, even in the shitty matchup, is still doing well with Russell Wilson. I think that was one of my biggest takeaways from this game.
Yeah, for that offensive line, defensive line report, George Pickens was actually somebody to not really like ice out of your lineup, but just to be aware that there is a chance that he may not perform as well as people were thinking. And I mean, 16 points, that's still pretty good. I do think there were some missed opportunities there, but yeah, so it was like one of those things where like there were chances for him not to do well, Russell Wilson, but he still targeted George Pickens, and George Pickens apparently, when he gets time and George Pickens can run his route, he's the guy.
Jason, next up, man, this sucks because I gave away all these awesome stats on Anthony Richardson. You know, when Jonathan Taylor was playing with Anthony Richardson, 5 rushing touchdowns, man. With Joe Flacco, 0 rushing touchdowns. And then the fool lays an egg. So, yeah, went counterintuitive. But then I saw that stat about Anthony Richardson, Jason, with like 11 design runs. So that's just like, Shane Steichen's like, fuck this, dude. I'm not saving Anthony Richardson. We're just going to use him and abuse him.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor ended with 4 points. Maybe a little bit more. I feel like that's a little bit inaccurate. Maybe like 6 points. But yeah, he had 24 rushes for 57 yards and 0 touchdowns. That's a 2.4 yards per carry. He did have 1 reception on 2 targets. The Jets, they allow 20 points a game to running backs. That's ranked 20th in the NFL. So it's already a tough matchup. But he only saw 8 men in the box 12% of the time. And his rushing yards was under expected per attempt with a minus 0.97. So a lot of yards were still left on the field. That's not what we like to see coming from Jonathan Taylor. Then Richardson, Vulture, 2 touchdowns. So that also doesn't help his case. Next week, he's home versus the Lions, and the Lions allow the 17 points to running backs.
Yeah, they're one of the pass funnel defenses, really. And then Jonathan Taylor has handled 100% of the Colts' running back rushes in 3 of the last 4 games. He scored fewer than 10 PPR points in 2 of them. So even with 100% of the rushes, Jason, he has scored 10 or fewer PPR points in 50% of those games, dude. That's fucking nuts. Like, if you're getting 100%, you should be at least above 10. It's like Travis Etienne numbers, man, like last game. So that just sucks for JTT. And the next up, Jason, Terry McLaurin. Again, I talked about the Eagles' defense. Quinyon Mitchell's insane. Just real fast, the Eagles have allowed 1 wide receiver to rank higher than PPR wide receiver 40 in weekly scoring since week 4, and that was Jamar Chase. So, yeah, just do not start wide receivers against the Eagles.
Yeah, and I'm mainly going to be talking about the Eagles' defense in this segment here. Terry McLaurin, he ended with only 2 points. He had 1 reception for 10 yards on 2 targets. This shows the power of the Eagles, my friend. Up into this game, I thought McLaurin was matchup proof. Quarterback, Quinyon Mitchell, who plays the right side of the field 96% of the time, the same where McLaurin runs the majority of his routes, BT dub, has allowed 60 receiving yards only twice and 8 games under 30 yards. I believe this guy's a rookie, right, Tyler?
Yeah, I remember he came from like a smaller college, but he was the first cornerback taken, and everybody's like, why do you guys let the Eagles get all the talent?
Yeah, he's locking people down. Eagles locked down Jaden Daniels as well for that game. He had no time, so the defense was just the Eagles' defense. It looks like they're becoming elite right now at the end of the stretch of the year. Next week, they are home versus the Cowboys that are ranked 15th in wide receiver scoring.
Oh, not the Commanders.
The Commanders.
That's what you do. The Eagles defense gets the Cowboys, like, I think week 17, which is the championships of the fucking fantasy football. So that's why I'm holding on to them, just in case I make it somehow. I don't know.
And then the Commanders also get the Eagles again in week 16.
There you go, dude. But anyways, yeah. So McLaurin he is only a 6.3% target share, but again, if you look into Quinyon Mitchell, he's got like 20 targets since like week 4 against him. So nobody's targeting him. It's all Quinyon Mitchell. And the next up, Jason, this sucks because Hawkinson, man, came out. He was like hyper targeted, man. It's like, no, who cares about Justin Jefferson? Who cares about everybody else? Let's throw it to Hawkinson. And then Tennessee, usually they've been stopping wide receivers. They've been okay against tight ends, but come on, man. Should have been a Hawkinson game. So this was a disappointment for me.
Yeah, this one you're kind of scratching your head at, right? It's 2 receptions, 13 yards on 3 targets. Both Jefferson and Addison were tied with 8 targets in the game. Titans are ranked 25th in tight end scoring. That's top 7 in the league. And Vikings played with the lead most of the game. So I'm thinking he just wasn't needed. Maybe, this was a down week, but I don't have any concerns for TJ Hawkinson. Next week.
I was thinking about it. Actually, he was going to be a trade for, but he was on this list. I was like, dude, trade for TJ Hawkinson if you can.
Yeah. Next week, he's at the Bears, and the Bears allow 10 points a game to tight ends. But keep an eye on Jordan Madison because he might miss some time with that injury.
Jordan Addison?
Yeah.
All right, man. Those are the crashes. Let's get into the smashes, Jason. First up, this guy right here, he was on the waiver wire list he's like, the games with Puka Nacua, he's got 4 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 0 touchdowns where they look like shit, then 4 touchdowns. So, yeah, he was streaming like quarterback, wide receiver, like 7 or 6 or 5 for the last like 4 weeks last year. He might be doing it again this year, man. Matthew Stafford.
Yeah. I mean, there were some other quarterbacks that had some big games too, but Matthew Stafford Stafford, this was an impressive week. He ended with 28 points, 18 completions for 27 on 27 attempts, 4 touchdowns with 295 passing yards. His 66 completion percentage was 7 points above the expectations. His 11.4 intended air yards is third best from the weekend. With only 18 completions, he had a lot of help from his elite wide receivers. Both Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp averaged 17 yards per reception and combined for 3 out of the 4 touchdowns from Stafford. Since the return of Kupp and Nacua, Stafford has thrown for multiple touchdowns in 3 out of the last 4 games. Next week, he is home versus the Eagles, who will allow 13 points to quarterbacks.
Yeah, so you're telling me the Rams have to go play the Eagles next, and we were just talking about how I would trust Cooper Kupp, but Puka Nacua against Quinyon Mitchell is going to get fucked.
Shut him down. Shut him down.
Well, Puka is really physical, so like he might make some crazy shit. Where Terry is, I don't know. I mean, I guess Terry is, but just when I see Puka, he just seems a little bit more physical, so he might be able to get a couple more catches there. But he probably won't even get targeted. So we'll see how that goes. Cooper Kupp, Jason, next game is going to have 15 targets. All right, man. Next up, Breece Hall, Jason. We had him as a trade because of his schedule and everything for like 2 weeks in a row. I took it off the list because I'm like, I don't want anybody on the Jets. I don't want anybody on the Jags. I don't want anybody on the fucking Bears, dude. There's just teams I'm over, man. By the end of the season, I'm done.
Right. All those teams you mentioned have horrible offensive lines, too.
Yeah.
So Breece Hall, he ended with 31 points. He finally hit the smash. He's been on crashes, Tyler, for like 2 or 3 weeks, man.
Yeah.
He has 16 attempts for 78 yards and 1 touchdown with a 4.9 yards per carry and 7 receptions for 43 yards and 1 touchdown on 7 targets. He was second this weekend with an average of 1.2 rushing yards over expected per attempt while seeing 8 men in the box 6.25% of the time. Those are great numbers. You don't want that extra defender in the box, and he didn't get it. Probably can continue when you have Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams out there. Maybe. He had 23 opportunities in this game, and that is the most since Devontae Adams has joined the Jets. This was desperately needed for the Breece Hall owners. Tyler, they're on bye next week.
Yeah, it was his best usage. It was his best usage since week 1. You probably said that, 89% rushing share and 24% target share. So, yeah, good for him. So you probably want to trade him away if you can right now. Is what I was thinking in my head. Who I had to trade for. I thought the Jets were going to get better, dude, and now it's like, what are they playing for, man? So very bad there. Next up, dude, this guy right here. Like, I don't know. They don't throw the ball that much, so he has like a 35% target share, 33% target share, 36% target share over the last 3. But Jason, he's got touchdowns in 8 straight games, dude. So he just continues to be the perfect wide receiver 1, really. If you had him as your wide receiver 2, it'd be the shit. But yeah, the most consistent wide receiver in the league, Jason, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah, in this game, I mean, if you're a Lions fan, that's great. But this game was kind of like, oh my God, dude. Like, they just kept pouring it on. Like, in reality, in expectations, like, Amon-Ra should not have done so well just because they had a big enough lead. They should have ran the ball. But they still played like the game was tied with 2 minutes left. And they were throwing the ball still. I was very surprised that they kept Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jared Goff in the game. In like the late third, fourth quarter. It was kind of ridiculous. But hey, man, if you're not going to stop them, they're going to just keep scoring, right? They're going to keep doing their thing. He had 11 receptions for 164 yards and 2 touchdowns on 11 targets. He had a 100% catch rate with 10 plus targets. Just let that sink in a little bit, boys. His targeted air yards was 9.4. His average 5.5 yards after catch with a 0.6 above expectation for his yak. He had 39% of his team air yards. I'm not surprised with this outcome because of how bad the Jaguars' secondary defense is. But I am surprised about the game was over by halftime, but they kept running plays for him to be able to score touchdowns, like I was just saying. Next week, he is at the Colts, who are ranked 11th in wide receiver scoring.
Yeah, and they were going against the Jags this week, right?
Yeah.
I don't understand why. I understand why they want to go bully the Cowboys. I understand why they need to go down and bully the Jaguars. It's like, hey man, Lions. You remember what it was like? We've been there for a fucking long time, dude.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that when I saw the score. I was like, oh, maybe they'll take it easy because it's a bottom of the line franchise too. You know, they know what it's like to lose. No, they're like, fuck that.
They were like, this is the battle of the cats.
I guess. Anyways, I was just thinking, who would win? A lion for sure. All right, man. Last up, Taysom Hill. Somebody asked me if they should start Taysom Hill. I'm like, oh, yeah, right, dude. I apologize to you. Like I said, man, he was averaging like 7 touches a game and 50 yards a game over the last, the whole year, whatever it was. But yeah, dude, anyways, he went off, Jason. Taysom Hill is a huge smash this week. A week winner.
Yeah, dude. And I was like watching the Dolphins games. I had Jonnu Smith and he scored like 32 points. I'm like, oh, this is going to be the smash player we talk about. And then I go look at the points. And this motherfucker went out and just had a game of his lifetime and put up 43 points in full PPR. I'm like, what the hell happened? This guy was just doing it all, dude. He threw for a pass for 18 yards. He rushed 7 times for 138 yards and 3 touchdowns. And he received 8 receptions on 50 yards on 10 targets. I'm surprised this guy wasn't kicking field goals and freaking sacking the quarterback, dude. He had a 75-yard touchdown on a 4th and 1 play. He'll likely single-handedly won fantasy managers this week, but the frustrating part is, when do you play this guy? He is very inconsistent, and out of the 7 games played, he has scored more than 10 points only 3 times. This is just it's his role. This is his life, his legacy. He's great, but he's very inconsistent, and that's the most frustrating thing about this.
Yeah.
So he's on a bye next week.
Okay. Yeah, oh yeah, you're right. He's on the bye. But anyways, so since Olave left, Jason, I mean, what? He has ran 60% plus route rate in each of his last 2, and 10 targets was a career high. So he's running a lot more routes without Olave there. So there's nobody to throw the ball to. They're fucking throwing to MVS and this dude. So until Olave comes back, I think that you could probably start Taysom Hill in your tight end spot and feel good about it, which is crazy. That sounds crazy.
You have to. But
yeah,
can he go ahead and get 3 points the next time he plays? Yeah. And
when this happened last year, Jason, Alvin Kamara was the one who suffered. I was the Alvin Kamara owner, and I suffered.
Yeah. Yeah, and Alvin Kamara only got like 10. Yeah, I think he got like 12 points. So he didn't win any 1 week this week.
So anyways, that is the show. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you liked us. Give us a thumbs up if you actually did like us, because it will send us out to a lot more people. Hopefully, man. Hopefully. So hopefully we earned that thumbs up. Hopefully we earned a subscription. If you are not already subscribed, man, we need your subscription. Just look at us, man. Well, we're trying to make, we just do this for fun. But hey, it still helps us, man. Please do that. Jason, please send us out because I'm running out of words.
Words.
Oh, words. Are you going to the mall today?
Are you going to the mall later? No. Spelled couch. Yeah, so what? This comes out Tuesday, so Wednesday we have the wide receiver cornerback matchup. Make sure to watch it. It's very important. It helps you decide your own fantasy tiebreakers, like who to start, who to sit. And then we got the player pause, our starters sit Thursday night. Make sure to watch that. And then we got our live rankings. We comment on the show and ask us questions. We answer to the best of our ability. I will talk to you in those episodes. Deuces.
This is the Fantasy Red Zone, and we appreciate you.